Once upon a time, deep in an ancient forest in India, there was an imposing Bengal tiger that lived alone and melancholic. Its ferocious roars were no longer heard as before, and the other animals noticed that the tiger no longer hunted as it used to. The days used to pass under the shade of a huge banyan tree, with a sad and lost look on the horizon. The birds and monkeys that played on the branches of the banyan tree realized that something was wrong with the tiger. It no longer roared as loudly as before, and it hardly moved from its place. Worried, they went to tell the old elephant, the wisest being in the jungle, about the strange melancholic behavior that the tiger was having. Venerable elephant, something very strange is happening to the tiger. It no longer roars or hunts. It is only lying under the banyan tree, with a look of deep sadness. What do you think is happening to it? Asked the leader of the monkeys. The elephant, who was over 100 years old and had seen everything in the jungle, reflected for a few moments and replied, "Dear friends, the tiger must be going through a difficult time. Perhaps it feels a great inner emptiness and its spirit is in need of healing. I will personally go to talk to it to find out what is happening to it and try to help it." Having said this, the old elephant headed heavily towards the banyan tree where the melancholic tiger lay. When he arrived, he gently bent his trunk and placed it gently on the tiger's back. "Powerful tiger, I am the elephant. I have noticed that lately you are not the same as before. I wanted to know how you feel and if I can help you with something," he said in a calm and paused voice. The tiger, surprised at first by the presence of the elephant, took a few moments before responding with a sigh. "Dear elephant, it is true what you say. Nothing makes me happy anymore, not even running through the jungle or doing my usual hunting. I feel a deep inner emptiness and a great sadness that does not leave me. I think my spirit has gone out, and I do not know what to do to regain the desire to live." The elephant listened carefully and with passion the sad story of the tiger. He knew that when a spirit is damaged inside, it needs to be healed, and perhaps he could help the tiger by sharing the wisdom he had accumulated in his years of life. "Dear friend, every living being goes through moments of sadness and discouragement, but I assure you that you can get out of suffering. We must look within ourselves and cultivate thoughts fuller of light. If you allow me, I can share with you some reflections that may alleviate the burden of your spirit." The tiger, moved by the words of the elephant, felt a flash of hope inside him and agreed to listen to the advice of the long-lived Pakwitamo, whose heart radiated great wisdom and compassion. After his conversation with the elephant, the tiger decided to get out of his lethargy and began to walk slowly through the deep and thoughtful forest. The other animals were very surprised to see him out of the shade of the banyan tree after so long. A group of nice monkeys, who were playing among the trees, approached him, jumping to greet him. "Tiger, we are very happy to see you out again. Are you feeling better?" "The truth is that no, little monkeys, I still feel..." Suddenly, the youngest and playful one had an idea to cheer up the melancholic feline. "I know, what do you think if we play for a while? Can we chase each other through the forest? That always puts me in a good mood." The tiger smiled slightly and agreed to try, more out of pleasure to the monkeys than out of his own conviction. He spent a while chasing the sluggish monkeys from branch to branch, but inside he still felt just as empty and sad. After a while, he stopped, exhausted, yawning in the shade of a nimbus. The monkeys descended around him. "I'm sorry, my friends, but not even this fun game has managed to cheer up my spirit," said the tiger. "Likewise, I thank you for your good until great sorrow in your... Please, tell me what's wrong." The tiger then told him about the great inner emptiness he felt. He told him that not even playing with the monkeys had cheered him up. The deer, compassionate and wise as a good inhabitant of the forest, replied to him, "Perhaps what you need is inner peace to fill that emptiness. You have tried to calmly contemplate the beauty of the forest. Come, let's lie down for a while to look at the clouds, to listen to the trill of the birds. Let the serenity of nature penetrate your spirit." The tiger decided to try the idea of the deer. It did not turn out as expected. After a while, lying in silence next to the deer, the tiger's spirit did not improve. "I thank you very much for trying to help me, good deer," he said. "But the peace of the forest only makes me feel smaller and insignificant compared to everything that surrounds me." He said goodbye with a veiled gesture of sadness and continued to wander aimlessly through the thicket, looking inside for some ray of light to light up the desire to live again. The other animals, sorry to see that none of their attempts had worked to cheer up the tiger's spirit. "Before sadness takes over completely from his spirit," said the elephant. "Beautiful Aramas," said the squirrel. "Maybe dancing and sing that very close." Was the cave where a renowned Buddhist hermit named Siddhartha meditated, who, after many years in solitude seeking enlightenment, had attained supreme wisdom and absolute compassion. That is, we must bring the venerable Siddhartha to use his profound knowledge and help the poor tiger, exclaimed the excited elephant. Quickly the fast deer went as emissaries to the hermit's cave to tell him about the sadness that overwhelmed the tiger and ask him to help him before it was too late. Siddhartha kindly agreed to follow the deer. On the way he told them about the Buddhist teachings to alleviate suffering. All pain comes from within, from not understanding the profound reality of life. But there is a path of hope to heal the spirit, he said to them with a paused voice and a serene look. Upon reaching the forest, the elephant and the other animals welcomed the wise hermit and introduced him to the tiger, lying down under a tree. Great tiger, I have been told of your inner sorrow, and I have come from my cave with the humble inner spirit, for I wish to understand your suffering, to be able to guide you down the path of hope. The tiger felt a little ashamed to show so much vulnerability in front of the other animals, but something in the hermit's loving and deep gaze prompted him to open up. Wise Siddhartha, for some moons my head and all my being have been filled with a thick dark fog that extinguishes any glimmer of joy. Nothing motivates me anymore, nor does it make any sense to me. I just touch the low cave, dragging the nightmare out of my body. I don't even have the desire to hunt or roar like before. I feel hollow, empty, insignificant. I don't know why I keep walking if life makes me unbearable. A contemplative silence followed the disheveled story of the tiger. Siddhartha closed his eyes and took a deep breath, as if looking for the correct answer inside him. Then he looked at the beaten feline with infinite compassion. My good friend, what afflicts you is known as dukkha, the suffering that is born from wishing that reality was different from what it is. Your melancholy is the product of a mind that does not understand its true nature and clings to the ephemeral, looking for an impossible happiness to reach. But you don't have to carry that weight anymore. There is a path to well-being. The tiger heard something confused, but with growing interest. Was there then a way to alleviate that internal torment? The path is simple, but it requires discipline and perseverance. Siddhartha continued. It is a path of 8 branches that leads to spiritual transformation, freeing from suffering. If you follow it with rectitude and wisdom, you will find the true bliss that nestles inside you. The tiger's eyes lit up for the first time with a flash of hope for Siddhartha to tell him more about that noble path of 8 branches that could free him from suffering. His eyes now radiate a flash of hope. Noble tiger, and that fills me with joy, said the hermit. It means that you are prepared to walk the path that I will reveal to you. Pay attention and record my words in your spirit. All the animals also approached curiously to listen to the teachings. The path has 8 steps, Siddhartha began. The first is to adopt a correct vision of reality, understanding the 4 noble truths about suffering and hearing things as they really are. The tiger listened, totally focused on the words of the hermit. The second is to develop a straight intention, cultivating thoughts of renunciation, goodwill and non-violence. The third step is to always use a correct language that inspires truth and harmony. The fourth is to act in an ethical and pure way, not hurting other beings. The animals also listened with great attention, as enchanted by the calm voice of Sid. The fifth step is to strive to have a correct livelihood that comes from worthy and honest means. The sixth is to always make a correct effort, working with diligence and positive energy. The seventh is to always have full attention and awareness of the present moment. And the eighth step is the correct meditation, training the mind to find stillness and deep vision. The tiger felt as if a great weight was released from his shoulders, as he heard the wisdom in the words of the monk. That was the path he needed to walk. If you walk those 8 steps with rectitude, your spirit will be purified and you will find the longed-for inner peace, removing all vestige of suffering. Siddhartha finished. It requires effort and perseverance, but the reward is well worth it. What do you say? Do you want me to guide you in that process of inner healing? Venerable Siddhartha, I am willing to undertake the noble octuple path you have revealed, replied the tiger fervently. Show me where to start. Excited to have found a possible solution to his sorrow, the tiger was eager to begin to walk the noble octuple path. To start the process, the first thing will be that you find a place of stillness and silence, where you can meditate without distraction, Siddhartha told him. I know a clearing next to the river, perfect for this. The tiger followed obediently towards a quiet clearing surrounded by tall bamboos, with a whispering waterfall in the background. This is an ideal place for meditation, the monk said. The first branch of the path consists of developing a correct vision of reality. To do this, you must focus your mind on the present moment, and calm your thoughts until you achieve mental stillness. Giving him some other basic indications about posture and breathing, Siddhartha proceeded to guide the tiger in his first meditation session. It was a strange feeling at first, But as he disciplined his mind, the tiger began to perceive inside him flashes of serenity that he did not know before. At the end of the session, the feline felt renewed, with a slight but growing feeling of inner peace. "Very well, you have taken the first step," Siddhartha congratulated him. "Now, when you feel the will to fall, come to this secret place of yours to meditate. You will see how, little by little, the clouds of your melancholy will begin to dissipate." Following the advice of the wise monk, the tiger began to meditate at the dark well where I was trapped. Said the tiger, "I still follow my path of healing, but I feel a renewed hope beating inside me." Everyone was happy to see the positive transformation of someone they considered not only a neighbor of the forest, but a good friend highly appreciated by everyone. As the tiger advanced along the 8 branches of the noble path, following the wise advice of Siddhartha, the animals of the forest witnessed an amazing transformation in their friend. He had already left all vestiges of sadness and apathy in his gaze, which now radiated a serene inner joy. Even his striped fur seemed brighter and silky. He no longer hesitated to live with the other inhabitants of the forest, but actively sought opportunities to share or help. A midday in which the heat suffocated, the tiger led the smallest animals to a spring of fresh water that he knew so that they could hydrate. "My friends, in past times I would have been unable to even perceive their needs, locked up as I was in my own sorrow," he reflected. "Today my heart rejoices to be able to serve them." The animals were so impressed with the overwhelming kindness of the feline that the monkey chief could not help but ask him, "But tiger, how did you manage to transform yourself so much? You have gone from being grumpy and melancholic to pouring kindness and joy everywhere. You must share your secret with us." "There is no such secret, dear monkey," the tiger replied. "I have only followed with discipline the teachings of the noble octuple path that the venerable Siddhartha kindly passed on to me. And I go on to tell you about his daily silent meditation by the river, his effort to have purer thoughts and intentions, his care in expressing himself with words of kindness, his contentment with what the jungle provided him without the need to accumulate anything. I will always be grateful to you for bringing this to me, such a wise master, when only darkness shone. Siddhartha lit a flame of consciousness in my spirit that grows day by day, healing me inside." Moved by the story, it was this time the elephant who spoke. "Noble tiger, your living process is the best proof that when you became an example and source of inspiration for any resident of the jungle who barely crossed the spirit, reminding them that there is a path of light when there is a will to pass it." One bright morning, the tiger happily headed to the bamboo clearing where he used to meditate next to the Whispering River. When he arrived, his surprise was great to see that his dear master Siddhartha was waiting for him, smiling, sitting in the lotus pose. "Venerable Siddhartha, what a joy to see you again," the moved tiger exclaimed. "To what do I owe this precious meeting? I have come, noble friend, to personally witness the prodigy that your companions of the forest do not cease to ponder everywhere," replied Fable. "They have told me ecstatically the transformation that operates in you day after day, filling you with serene inner bliss and genuine desires to serve. I wanted to see it myself before leaving." The tiger lowered his gaze, blushed before that undeserved recognition. "I owe everything to you, wise Siddhartha, and to the blessed teachings on the octuple path that you have kindly passed on to me," replied with humility. "I have only followed your wise advice as best as I could, although sometimes I feel that I am not even close to reaching the purity of spirit that you treasure." But the monk shook his head affectionately. "You do not underestimate your noble effort, dear tiger. The path to inner redemption that you have chosen requires constancy and patience. But the fruits that you already harvest are quite visible, and not only for your own transformation, but also for the positive effect that your change generates in those around you, inspiring more kindness everywhere. That fills me with joy." The tiger felt that his eyes were moistened with gratitude. He knew that despite what he had learned, he still had a long spiritual path to travel. But now he had a precise compass in the noble teaching of his dear master Siddhartha, etched in his spirit. And so, when the venerable monk said goodbye to continue his pilgrimage, the tiger knew that he would never be truly alone, that when melancholy or discouragement threatened to return, it would suffice to evoke the wise words of his mentor about that octuple illuminated path, whose steps had become an integral part of his being, always reminding him that true bliss lies within oneself, waiting patiently to be discovered. And this is the Buddhist fable about how the tiger managed to overcome his sadness, heal his soul from within, and find true happiness based on compassion and wisdom.